Hey guys, out here in our authentic weather conditions, my least favorite weather conditions, about 34 degrees and raining, a little snowy, misty stuff in the air. I want to show you authentically what I do here to train in this kind of conditions. And first of all, for a lot of this stuff, I will wear gloves. I just cannot. My fingertips are numb. I don't have the toughest fingers anymore for whatever reason. Lovely effects of aging or whatever you want to call it. So I wear these Hydra Hyde. I can put this in the description there too. This Wells Lamont Hydra Hyde. So that just does well with moisture. And then I'll use I could use a regular tacky, but I find just this stuff works really well, and it's naturally going to waterproof a little bit too. So I'll spray that occasionally. In this kind of conditions. Again, this is about as extreme as it gets, but I just want to show you it can be done. I'm wearing some good layers here. I'm wearing lightweight upper body stuff. Hopefully that's common sense, but I love talking about gear and the best gear for different conditions. Footwear too. This is my lovely Ice Bug shoe, and that has some like a turf cleat in there. You could probably use a lot of different stuff. I love that these are waterproof. They're a little bit warmer. I'll even wear a boot. I'm not afraid to wear something that wouldn't be my normal wear. I love the minimalist Vivo type of boot, like a light boot as well. That can work fine. With this stuff, there's not a lot of footwork that I'm doing specifically today. If I'm doing more footwork, your regular cleats could be fine as well. Just playing around with that and give you guys some ideas. The tools of the trade I'm using today, and kind of the theme is more on the hammer side of things. There's a ton of other stuff. I posted this before, and just having simply a tire to work with. What I love about the tire, it's not specific. It's kind of a hidden, it looks like a hammer throw. If you kind of squint in dark light or something like that, that looks like a hammer release. Yeah, it's similar enough. I can throw this all different ways laterally. What I'm going to show you here is a couple of throws and how I would break this up for my more power side of things. Basically, I'm working on that power position or that release side of things. So I would just tend to go heavier with this. This could be done all different ways, and you could cycle through this from heavy, medium, and light. I just want to expose my body to these positions in very simple ways and get out of this mindset of throwing for a certain distance or being hyper focused on technique. I'll show you a few key pieces that I use with each specific throw. Again, I've broken these down into other sections of their videos on how to do each part. So you can always put some, if you can't find this stuff, should be in the Highland Games section, but you can access this stuff fairly easy. And again, this tire throw is this first one, and I'm going to show you the other tools of the trade. This is the Spud Strap here quick. This thing is very easy to find online. This has been very durable. I've enjoyed it. And then I just have a 5-pound plate on here, and again, I'll show you why I'm choosing these weights. The Spud Strap for my more winds and different positions, for more specifically for hammer, but I will wind this like a weight for distance. It doesn't have to be specific, or I don't even want it to be specific to Highland Games generally yet. I might dabble into a few more specific throws, but if I don't have a competition for months out, and as I think a key point for an aging athlete or even a new athlete, just expose yourself to these general powerful positions without getting in your head and spinning out on distances, and maybe even more valuable in a group of people because nobody's measuring a bunch of distances. Like, how good did that feel? How powerful, a mix of how good it felt, of course, how far it went, and just how smooth it looked too. Didn't choke my neck to finish. I didn't whiplash myself just to do this event. So this is just a bunch of chains here, all balled up. This is about 50 pounds of chain. Again, you don't have to use this. You could use the Spud Strap and just load this up. Again, I'll show you specifically why I choose these things. You could find this at a hardware store. It is hard to find these bigger chains. This is something I bought years ago. I think Titan Fitness also has this chain type of setup, and partly what I like about this, for one thing, is it doesn't damage the ground as much. And this tire, super easy to find a tire. Be able to throw that anywhere. Chains, I think you can get away with that just about anywhere. Any like city park, you can just jump out there, eject, and go. Again, having my gloves on really, just makes it more tolerable, and I have better grip too. So first one, show you guys this here quick and just run through the series of what I'm doing here. So basically, winding up with straight arms and I'm throwing this up and over as if I'm doing my hammer release here, power position, finish up and over my shoulder. And I'll throw this usually each side. I'll do one, come back and throw, repeat that. Any order that I want to prioritize, but I would rotate through this potentially. Or if you have a weak link, then maybe focusing, or definitely focusing a lot more on one part of the throw. Again, this is the training the release power position here. So generally go over my good side first, or my normal throwing side, and I'll throw it back, try to get the same feel on my left side and throw it, you know, maybe 3/4 of that distance is good. I probably put about, you know, in that effort, 70%, 80%. Usually at most, I'll go up a little higher if I'm feeling really good, but I just want to get this going, greasing that groove for now. We say kind of same but different training. I'm still throwing stuff. This has got a little bit of weight to it, and it's wet. So, you know, that thing's over 20 pounds. I have a little heavier tire I might go with as well if I'm feeling like I can maintain that quality here. And then I'll throw this thing back over my left side. Make sure to not hit the dog. So, again, good enough technique. Just to expedite this and show you the whole series here, I'm going to be, again, maybe 5, I'll do those in like bunches or kind of intervals of like 2. I don't want to be out of breath. I want to observe all those, we call them stop signs, where I'm not out of breath, you know, one throw back. Make it efficient. Sometimes I'll even go inside, go get a cup of hot cocoa, or, you know, some bone broth or whatever in between. You don't have to suffer into this. Take a little break in between, do a little movement pattern, blah, blah, blah. Again, maybe 5 and 5 each side. It could expand up, and you could just work on this, maybe sets of a total of 20, 30 reps at max, but I shouldn't feel fried. I should still feel fresh. Do them in those little clusters like that. Maybe no more than 5 or 6 in a row if you really want to train that muscle endurance side of things, and don't go as heavy when you do that. My next one here, again, this is the heavy chain. We're doing these sweeps across, training for that position, that low point through as I'm sitting into that. We'll kind of pan as I'm doing these. I've shared this before, so I won't go into too much detail here. Trying to stay smooth, long, not let this thing pull me over this way, but get as far forward as I can while staying very solid. Imagine I'm playing tug of war and I want to win. I'm not going to let it pull me, but I'm not, well, actually really just getting along with it until the end. Then I want to win if I was going to finish. But for this, I'm just pushing out. I'm getting along with it. I'm not actually really trying to win or lose with that. And I'm sitting into this position, so I'm getting nice and strong, or kind of downloading that strength pattern. This looks very, you know, athletic-y, balance positions, all that good stuff. And then the last one I would work on, some of you who are not really great with winds might want to just do this, and you could go quite a bit heavier. I would always choose err on the side of keeping the quality, or with any of this stuff, anything, always don't go into a place where your form falls apart. Just like a carry, like a suitcase carry, I never want to see somebody just crumpled in to that position. Be the same kind of thing with any of these throws. You can go heavy enough where you can still maintain that technique. A more advanced thrower, someone with very proficient, turning up that dial is going to be able to handle 60, 70, 80 pounds even with this kind of thing. Legend has it that guys in the past, like Matt Sanford, a great hammer thrower, look him up if you're not familiar with him, from the 90s into early 2000. He would wind this thing really heavy, or wind an actual hammer. What this is training me to do here is have this on this weight is going to give me more feedback. So if I'm kinking this thing at all, if I'm not staying long in my orbit, it's going to give me feedback and clunk me around. I'm going to have to react to that a little more than a regular hammer. And again, what I'm really focusing on, and this thing's a little bit longer than an actual hammer, is just getting smooth with my winds. I'm not trying to go fast, trying to push through, get long into that low point, push through. And usually actually, I'm actually winding kind of in front, but I would tend to wind if you really want to work more on the true wind aspect. Again, we're not training specifically for hammer, but there's always some intentional work to be done in here. Over this right side, Sets of 10 is an awesome place to be, maybe even sets of 20. Again, this feels pretty light, but this is literally me just breaking things in as smooth as I can get this thing going, working my feet. I can even work in some drills where I'm stepping, learning to stay balanced. Now I'm really just working my feet, and I'm not allowing, or not trying to emphasize anything with my arms. Besides, when I come over here, I want to be long. I'm letting my arms bend over the top. I'm not trying to bend them, but I'm allowing that to happen over the top, and I'm trying to push through long. Key thing here, a quick little technique thing, not to let too much speed develop over the top. It's very easy to come across and go fast. Where I want to develop the speed is over here. Or essentially when it's just a super lightweight like this, I'm just trying to get a little smooth operator, smooth rhythm going. Side push through, side push through. As easy as I can make that, as efficient as I can make that. When we're doing sets of 15, 20 on each side, body's gonna start to figure that out. I could do quite a few reps, and there is a place for that, kind of that contrarian approach, like Mike and Mindy Pekoski, that series they put out about a little over 10 years ago on being fatigued. The body's gonna figure out how to move. It's gonna let go of those little muscle groups that have all that tension. So again, you see these three options, more emphasis towards hammer, but this is gonna help any of the throws in general, any of my total athleticism. Even if I'm not a thrower athlete, it's still going to give me good brain food, this conditioning stuff that I'm doing. Again, just remember the purpose. Am I doing this purely for this kind of power conditioning stuff? Am I doing it for more sports specific Highland Games kind of stuff? Consider why you're doing this and the weight that you're choosing, and remember those little rules that I talk about, not being losing this technique. It should feel smooth, it shouldn't be painful. You know, a lot of this common sense stuff I hope makes sense, guys. And if I'm under too much fatigue, take a longer rest period in there. Don't fry yourself. Unless you're doing something like these winds, that can actually help to lengthen out and get smoother with it. Okay, so hope that helps. Let me know how that goes.